What's up, guys? Iceman here. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I'm going to be back to doing everything weekly again. So, welcome back. If you're in class of 2025, I appreciate you watching this video. But today we're going to be talking about the value of your intention, your attention. So, I know we hear a lot today talk about the fact that we live in an attention economy. In other words, you know, let's hope that this was still recording. In other words, how they say, if you don't have to pay for something, you're the product. Well, with social media, we know that we don't have to pay for social media. So it's not necessarily you that's the product, but it's something of yours, which is your attention. We all know that that is what is being monetized, and that these apps are designed to maintain our attention for as long as possible. So I want to just discuss the relationship between attention and intention today. I had a revelation about these things, and intention and attention have a very complex relationship. But the thing is, when you start being more intentional about things, or even you can use the word conscious about things, mindful, right? That means when you are from a space of mindfulness, consciousness, that means you can be more intentional about how you use your attention or spend your attention, right? Because just like we can spend time, when we're spending time doing something, we're spending also our attention on it to varying degrees. For example, if you and I are having a conversation, we are already spending time together. But for example, if I happen to be on my phone, I am not paying you attention in that particular moment. And so, though we are both spending the same amount of time together, our attention is being spent in varying degrees and going in different directions, if that makes sense. So it's important to be able to be mindful about what we're doing, so that we can then be intentional about what we're doing. So we can be conscious about what we're doing, and we can make conscious investments of our attention into things that we want to do, rather than paying, you know what I mean? We don't even realize we're paying them, but we're paying the social media company or YouTube or whatever, them something, that we may or may not be getting something in return for. Like, for example, my intention is for when you spend your attention here, which I'm grateful for. Thank you for continuing to watch my videos. When you spend your attention here, I seek to serve you with some sort of information that has been useful to me, right? So that's a fair exchange. But for example, if we are, we've all been there, like they say, doom scrolling, you're spending attention, you know what I mean? Like, you have an infinite amount of it, but we don't. We have a very limited time here on this earth, and you're spending it without getting anything in return. That's a bad investment. So I strive to make this channel a good investment of your intention, of your attention, and I'm intentional about the words that or the messages that I bring here, so that I can always, ensure that I'm giving my viewers the best return on their investment of their intention here. So that said, I just wanted to point out also that the less intentional we are about things, the more susceptible we are to our attention being harvested, like in social media. So, for example, when we just, a lot of times we don't even realize how subconsciously we do these things. Like, as soon as we wake up, we might open our phone. As soon as we wake up, or sometimes we can find ourselves like doom scrolling, either on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. You're just, but you have no intention about why you came to this app. You didn't come here to message anybody. You didn't come here to, promote your business or whatever you're doing. You didn't come here to do anything. Like, I mean, and I'm not here to make any value judgments about what your intention is, but you at least want to be mindful enough to have an intention. Because when we don't have an intention for doing something, that means in a lot of cases that we're doing it unconsciously, and that means we can get into behavior patterns where we're not really even aware of why we're doing something. And a wise man once said, the revelation is in the why. And so, yeah, so our attention should be invested. It should be, rather than passively drained from us. So that's just the short message for today. Be intentional about how you spend your attention and where you spend it, be it with the types of people that you're spending your attention on? You know what I mean? Are they negative or positive? Because if you spend more attention into something negative, you're going to continue to be drained of your energy. You know what I mean? So this is why they say, you have to sometimes just you shouldn't be, you should be nonplussed by certain things, because certain people are just trying to get a reaction out of you because they just want your attention. And as we just said before, your attention is valuable. So it's good to not spend attention on things that are negative or are going to sap you of your energy, right? Because we need that energy to be intentional about it and put it in something that's going to fill us up, right? That's a creative endeavor, something we've been wanting to do for a while, right? So, and that means also a lot of times that maybe practice meditation or some sort of silent practice that's going to help you ground yourself and come to a center of mindfulness and consciousness of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your inner machinations, your inner world. And that's going to help you, first off, get clear on your current inner state, right? This is what they call emotional intelligence, your current state, right? And it also helps you understand your relationship to other people, because we understand that when we're highly emotional, or we might be emotionally compromised, we're more prone to react in a rash manner to maybe something that we otherwise would have been unaffected by, right? So it's important to be able to return, or as Seneca once said, I believe Seneca said, secede into ipsum, withdrawn to yourself, be able to be conscious and mindful of how your inner world is moving, how it feels, be present with that. And then after, understanding your current internal state, setting an intention for what you want to do next and how you want to spend your attention, because otherwise your attention is just going to be getting drained from you, and you're going to be wondering why you have no energy to put it into things that you actually want to do. So that's the message for today. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Like, I'm kind of going to expand on this idea more, but I think I'm working on making my video shorter, more straight to the point, like I said, so you can spend less attention here, but get a lot more. My intent is for you to spend less attention here, but to get a better return on your investment. So hopefully this video served you well. Stay frosty. Peace out.